This time, I'm going to do a bit of a mashup of many of the previous lessons. So we're going to create one example this time, and we're going to use GLTF Animations, the Raycaster, tween.js, and Spotlight Shadow all in one. We'll create this example here where there's a model imported. This is a GLTF. Double click on the plane there. The character will walk and then do an action like that. Like that. And so during the video, there'll be several problems to resolve, and I'll show you how you can resolve those. So grab the start code. Server. Server is using the GLTF loader, stats, GUI, and tween modules. All right, now grab the client code. Okay, and it's the lesson from the GLTF Animations. So we have the model that we converted from the FBXs to the GLTF, and we also did the animations, and we used Blender to convert those. And we created these animations, and they all smoothly transition between each other if I just click them in random order. And so we resolved several problems in that video. Okay, so now let's continue making this a little more interesting. So let's look at the code. First thing I want to do is add a plane for the model to walk on. Okay, so uncomment those lines, scene.add plane. Okay, so we created a plane geometry, gave it a texture, and rotated it on the x-axis minus 90 degrees so it faces upwards. Refresh. There we go, there's a plane. Next thing to do is to set up the Raycaster so that we can double click and make that thing move. So we'll create a scene meshes array. We'll add our plane to the scene meshes array. So that'll be one of the objects that the Raycaster is checking. We go down, create our Raycaster. We add our event to the canvas, which is our renderer DOM element. Double click, function on double click. We get the properties of our mouse. We set our Raycaster, get the intersects. If the intersects length is greater than 0, grab that point. Then create a tween to px, py, pz. We'll do it for a period of 1 second. Then start. Down here, I'm changing the model mesh position. So instead of saying change the position of scene children 1, which I did in the previous video, I'll just create a reference called model mesh, which is a 3 object 3D. And when my main model has loaded, being the Vanguard GLB, and just after I've added it to the scene, I'll just say the model mesh equals GLTF scene like that. So press save, refresh. Okay, so double click, and now our model moves around like that. So there we go. Now, top right here, we have animations. What I'll do is when I click the plane like that, we'll start an animation. Go down to the event. Here it is. Set action, animations 3. That's the goofy running button. Set action, animations 3. So I'm just hard coding it there just after I've got the point. Okay. Okay, starts walking to the point. And the animation keeps running. There are several problems there. As we can see, the first one I'll resolve is the walking speed is way too fast for long distances. And if for a short distance, it seems very slow. So depending on the distance that I've clicked, we can adjust the tween speed. That is here, distance. Model mesh position distance to P. So we have a point P and we have the current model mesh position, and we're just getting the distance. And since we're using 1 unit equals 1 meter in Threejs, we can say whatever that value is returned is in meters. So it could be 1.2 meters or it could be 10 meters. Okay. So instead of saying do that tween over a period of 1 second, I can say, let's just leave that for a second. I can say do that 1 second and just multiply it by the distance. So right now you can consider that 1 meter per second times the distance being 10, for example. So that'll be 10 meters. It would take 10 seconds to walk 10 meters. Let's just say hypothetically my model there walked at 2 meters a second. So 1000 divided by 2 walks 2 meters a second times the distance. Press save and okay, and even if it was a long, now I'm just guessing that that model was walking 2 meters a second. I think this is something that you could fine tune if you wanted to. See, for a short distance it's much faster. For a long distance the speed is exactly the same. Well, there's still problems we can see. Next one we could solve is we can make the camera look at that object as it moves. So on update, controls.target set the model mesh position and just y+1, so it's slightly higher. There we go. So the camera is now following. Now, another problem. I want the object to face the direction that it's walking. The simplest way to do that is to say model mesh dot look at P. All right. Okay, so now the object faces to the point that it's running, like so. But that change is instant. So we'd say, okay, we could just tween that turn, but actually it's much more complicated than that. So in order to tween that, we'd have to calculate the new vector of the look at and then modify the object's rotation matrix until it gets around. Now, when you use rotations, you have a problem called gimbal lock, so I'd have to use quaternions, and I'll create a video on gimbal lock later on. But for now, I'm just going to show you how I solve this particular problem without using tweens, because we don't really have the properties that we can merge between in order to use a tween. I'm going to use a different method where I'm going to use a quaternion, and I'm going to use a function called rotate towards. Now I'm going to use the quaternion and not rotation, because rotations are subject to gimbal lock and quaternions aren't. I'll do a video on that later, but for now I will just show you the functions that I use to manage a smoother look at turn. So we'll pre-calculate the next look at vector, and that will be, put that into a rotation matrix variable. The rotation matrix look at P from the model mesh position, model mesh up, which is just pointing upwards along the y-axis. That's the rotation matrix look at. The target quaternion, which I haven't created yet, set from the rotation matrix. So we've pretty much just done that, but we haven't turned our object yet. So target quaternion is not the same as the model mesh's current quaternion. So down here in the animate loop, I'm doing a test on that. If it's not the same, if the model mesh quaternion doesn't equal the target quaternion, then model mesh quaternion rotate towards the target quaternion, and then just clock delta times 1000, which is the speed, how much it's going to turn on each animate iteration. F5. Okay. Okay, you can see the turn now is happening a little slower. Well, anyway, there you go. We've got a turn now. So the object is now turning and running towards the location. Now, when it gets to the location, it continues to run. We should make it so it stops running. Now I can just say go back to default like that, But to make it more interesting, I'll call a different function. Let's do the belly dance. Let's run and then do the belly dance. So on complete, set action, animation actions 2, which happens to be the one that I called belly dance. These are the buttons on the GUI. Just when you press the belly dance button, it calls set action, animation actions 2. Refresh. Okay, so run to your location and do a belly dance. Run to your location. Do a belly dance. Run to your location. Do a belly dance. Now, that was interesting. You probably noticed this from the previous video. When you move the camera too close to the object, it disappears like that. This is a problem you'll see with some models that you import. What's actually happening is the center of the model is down there at the feet, or the model's origin. So as soon as some part of the feet disappears, the camera thinks it doesn't have to render it anymore. So to solve that, when you load the model, we can traverse the scene. And if our model is a mesh, we can say frustum cold equals false, F5. Okay, so now I zoom right into it and right out of it, and it's still always there. That's just one way to solve that problem. What we'll look at now is lighting. We'll convert those lights to spotlights. Okay, so in the first example, I was using point lights. Let's use spotlights. And we'll set their angle and penumbra, and that they cast a shadow. Renderer shadow map enabled. Plane receive shadow. And as we traverse the model as we're loading it, we'll say, yep, it's going to cast a shadow as well. F5. Okay, so that looks a little better there. It's much more interesting lighting with 2 quite sharp shadows on it. If I click, the shadows update, and the object will walk in and out of the darkness into the light. Let's make the lights follow the model. To do that, down here in our on update in our tween, light 1 target equals model mesh, light 2 target equals model mesh. Okay, the lights now follow the object. That looks much better. Now this is quite a subtle thing you might not have noticed yet. When this original model is an FBX, it's 100 times larger than when we've exported it as a GLTF. Now, when I first did the FBX import, I had to rescale the model down by 100. So what we get is a funny effect on the lighting. So it looks like the model's actually been lit from underneath. So even though the model has been rescaled automatically once I've converted it to a GLTF, the lighting normals weren't updated. So it looks like the model's being lit from below, like it's standing in front of a fire, but actually our lights that are casting this shadow are like at this direction here, but it's not really lighting the model from that direction. So this doesn't affect all models, just some models. And to fix this particular problem, for these particular models that I've imported from Mixamo, I do this. The m.geometry compute the vertex normals. Okay, so now the object is now being lit from the correct direction. And that's just a problem you may not have picked up on, but that's how to solve that problem. And you'll get that when people build models, they'll use all different kinds of techniques and different kinds of programs, and they won't always work straight out of the box. So that's one of the things that you can try. If you think the normals are wrong, that's one of the options you can do. They're very good. So that is now lit correctly. So now when I'm walking away from the lights, the object is actually dark. It's a little more correct. One final problem to solve. If I double click and then quickly double click again. We get this effect sometimes where it just slides. What's happening here is there are several tweens running in the background. To fix that, well, a quick fix for that is tween.remove all before we run tween. It doesn't seem to be doing that slide now. Very, very good. And also another problem that I had to solve that affected the example on the website. What I'll do is kick and then I pause. I don't just keep kicking on this one. Kicks and pauses to solve that problem, because otherwise it would just keep kicking. A bit like this one, just keeps dancing, just keeps looping around. So what I can do is go, after I've set the animation actions, I can say it's setting it what's called an active action down there. So I'll just go active action dot loop equals 3.loop once down there. Let's try that out. Well, it's going to be a long one before we see that cycle finish. I'll just fast forward that video. Okay, so that's finished. And so that's looped once, but it's ended up back into the default pose. I want it to finish on the last frame of that animation. So to do that, before I say 3 loop once, active action clamp when finished equals true. Let's refresh that. Let's do that. Now fast forward the dance bit. So we'll see that it will just end on the belly dance. Last frame. There we go. And we can start the animation over again. Now this works better on this example because the kick is because the kick is a much shorter animation. Kick. Kick. Very, very good. Excellent. There was a lot of little problems to solve on that, but that would be a good exercise. You can try this one out. This model also comes from Mixamo. I've downloaded the model from Mixamo, converted it to a GLB using Blender, and I've downloaded 2 individual animations, one being the walk and the other being the kick, and just put those together. Well, it's very much the same as this exercise. It's just different actions. Excellent.